I'm actually very optimistic about this role in this industry, it's high in demand, and a lot of companies right now are seeking to invest in UX.
Hi guys, my name is Arman. I'm one of the tech education specialists at Vertical Institute. Today I am joined by none other than Zack, one of our UX design instructors. He is currently at Rakuten as a UX design manager and the co-founder of BlockChef. So what Zack is going to be talking to us about today is going to be about the fascinating world of UX design. So Zack, thank you so much for joining us today. And yeah, we're very happy to have you here with us.
Thank you, Arman, for having me. I'm super excited to share about UX design.
Tell us about your background in UX design. How did you get into the industry? And yeah, talk us through your journey as to where you are right now.
Wow, that's a long time ago. Okay, I started as a graphic designer. That's about two decades ago. Then, sometime in the journey itself, I've pivoted into advertising, and I really enjoyed doing advertising at that point in time. But after a while, it kind of feel like I'm just doing what my clients asking me to do. So it gets a little boring and not so fulfilling. Then I was kind of privileged to be able to work with a service design agency sometime down the road. And that led me to kind of really understand design thinking, because they're using something really different from what I've learned, right? And that gave me a lot of inspiration in terms of what I want to do. And from there, I move on, and that one thing led to another, and I moved into UX design. And so since then, I have the opportunity to kind of work in many different companies, managing different design teams and working on different products. That includes e-commerce companies like Shopback. They also include, for example, a local bank, UOB. So I was managing the design team. Right now, I'm with Rakuten. And for the last 2 years, I've been incubating AI product ideas for the company, especially in the field of generative AI. Right. Also, recently I just transited to Rakuten Viki as the UX design manager. So Viki is a content streaming platform for Asian content. Right. So that's where I am. Yeah. And in terms of BlockChef, it's an interesting story. So I remember I was, I was teaching a class of students in Vertical Institute. Right. And one of my students was actually the founder of BlockChef. And we kind of hit it off. We talk about design, talk about product. Right. And that got me really excited. And from then, we decided to kind of just start something together. Right. And together with another co-founder, who's a CTO, we now started BlockChef, which is a food marketplace tech to help home cooks, fulfill their passion of making food available for everybody in Singapore.
So what essentially is UX design? I mean, what does it essentially entail? What can somebody expect out of a UX role? So, give us some insight about that.
UX design is basically user experience design. I mean, it's very popular nowadays, especially because the demand for this design industry right now, especially in the tech world, it's high in demand. And a lot of companies right now are seeking to invest in UX because when you have good user experience design, it basically removes the friction between the user and the product. Yeah. So when we kind of remove that friction, right, products are a lot more desirable because it's intuitive to use and the experience is much easier. Right. So in that sense, you can kind of see the need for having good UX. Right. And as a UX designer, one of our main role is to be able to identify problems and be able to find ways to solve these problems for our users eventually. Right. Yeah.
How are they specifically trying to utilize this, and why do you think it's important for people to be able to contribute in this way in terms of their employability if they know how to contribute on the UX side of things?
I mean, business owners or even product owners of a specific product. I mean, in this case, let's talk about digital product. It could be website, it could be mobile applications. They're always looking to make their product look better. And to do that, UX is one of the key ways to do it. But I do feel like most often or not, I think UX has been not so well represented. At its core, I think people should look into solving user problems not so of just looking at the other aspects of the product. In this case, I think sometimes there's too much emphasis on the aesthetic part of UX. And so for people seeking to go into the role as a UX designer, one of the key things is not to just look at design as it is, but we need to start to kind of change our mindset. We're looking at understanding the science behind how our users are interacting with our product. So if we're able to go into that role, we're able to kind of think and empathize with our users, we will then be able to succeed in this role. So yeah, a lot of businesses right now are seeking talented individuals as designers to be able to solve problems from that perspective.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So, I mean, that being said, can you think of any maybe real life UX success stories that come to mind, maybe based on your previous experiences?
Sure. So there's quite a bit. Yeah. So I remember I was leading a team in UOB. I was managing the rewards team.
Right.
So we were like looking at the stats and there was a couple of problems we have to handle from a business angle. And one that really was a bit of a problem for us was like there wasn't really high usage when it comes to redemption of rewards on the UOB platform, the DigiBank app itself. Yeah. So basically you use your credit card, you spend, you clock different types of rewards, and you are supposed to go into the app and basically be able to redeem attractive rewards that we have for you. It's all in the interest of encouraging credit card spend. Yeah. But we're not seeing that traction. And so the UX team, basically, we did a usability study and also some research work. We talked to our users to understand the behaviors, mainly to understand why they're not spending on, they're spending, but they're not redeeming their rewards, right? Then we realized that, actually, they aren't really sure how to redeem the rewards. Yeah. And there are like many different reward types. So it's quite confusing. Once we kind of know where the problem is, then we decide, okay, maybe we can explore different solutions around solving this problem. Yeah. And eventually we went ahead with one particular solution, which is to have a unified wallet where we can kind of combine all their reward types into one location. So it's first of all, it's easy to find. Yeah. Second, in the wallet itself, we will kind of make it a bit more explicit for each different reward type. What is the kind of the mechanics of how you can earn and spend, and also like an accumulation. Currently, how much do you have? Right. So that immediately solves a lot of problem. And also we tweak the journey. So now you can go through wallet first before deciding what you want to redeem. So that serves as a great starting point for our users to begin their journey. And so with that change, over time, like just within a couple of months, we are starting to see an increase in engagement. Yeah. People are starting to redeem more and more rewards. So that's one example I can think of that was quite a success case. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, so what I'm getting is that when you are knowledgeable and capable in these skills, it sounds like it's quite a big contribution you can give to the company. So I just want to ask now, would you say that it is extremely vital that maybe across all businesses, they should have at least one person who is quite, experienced or knows how to navigate the world of UX? Do you think it's something that matters to businesses?
That's a good question, Aman. So I think when it comes to businesses, I think I won't quantify it in terms of like one or two people or even the experience level. I would say, first of all, let's think of UX as a competitive advantage. Yeah. And these days, I would say everybody should have UX in mind when they're starting up their business. As a matter of fact, I do think that when we are starting up a business, UX should be a part of it, and starting it from its basic level, right down to being able to scale UX. Yeah. Because when we kind of launch a product, we want to make sure that we are able to launch a very basic product that serves the basic needs of our user first. Then as the use case or the usage of this product gets more and more complex, more and more features starts to come in, the UX team serves, or rather UX serves as a way for us to kind of scale that requirement up. And so that makes the product very versatile and able to serve many different user segments. So without that, I think it's not really when you compare yourself with your competitors, it's really going to be not so competitive anymore. So this, to me, it's a very important thing, especially for businesses.
I see. Okay, well, I mean, that being said, something that I wanted to ask as well on a side note is, obviously, a lot of our viewers, they would know this as well. In terms of emerging technologies, we're always hearing the buzzword AI, right? So obviously, I do want to ask, what do you think is the impact on UX design and AI? What do you think is the correlation? And do you think knowing how to do UX and knowing how to do AI, do you think these two skills can come in hand to hand?
Definitely. So in the past, when we are talking about UX, it's purely about what I just said, right? But now with this AI trend that's incoming, we are starting to see that a lot of our work processes are being automated. It's a lot faster. And if you think about it, AI is not really just about like how we can generate or create visuals very fast through text prompts, like what we've seen so far in just the usage of ChatGPT, DALL-E and so on. But when you're looking from a business angle, AI comes in and integrates into our work processes. It improves our productivity. So as a UX designer already, in some companies, we would define the role a lot differently, also known as product designers. We work very closely with different tools and solutions that are powered by AI. This helps us speed up our day-to-day tasks. Right. For example, as a UX designer, I might be required to do interviews with a group of users. I might have to spend 2 hours just drafting out questions on what I want to ask my users from a qualitative study. But with ChatGPT, we could kind of draft out very fast, quickly, a simple, basic set of questions. I'm not saying that we will rely totally on that. We will have to still fact check the data. And then like kind of make some tweaks to it, but at least that side of the work, it's a lot faster. So I think as designers, we really need to kind of capitalize on this technology to speed up on our job. So that's one. Second thing, really just to round this whole thing up, is that as a UX designer, we also need to be forward looking. So we need to know like our project in a couple of years time from now, how will AI evolve and how will we evolve along with AI? Because right now I'm seeing, it's not just about crafting screens and pixel perfect UI visuals. It's also about the thinking behind how users are interacting, things that AI currently cannot really achieve. So those qualitative aspects are still very reliant on our experience.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I 100% I agree. So obviously something that we at Vertical Institute try to emphasize as well, and I'm sure you know this, is that the trend now is AI. It's best to ride on the wave and just maximize your potential with it. So I mean, on to a bit something different. I do want to ask, could you describe what average day in the life of a UX designer looks like? What does that look like, in terms of balancing your creative responsibilities, but also trying to be, I would say, innovative as well?
Okay, I can share my day. Then I can probably share a little bit about my designer. So I start off my day very early in the morning. So I do a lot of planning. I will take a look at my calendar. I'll do a lot of planning, what I want to do today, what I want to achieve today. So right off where we start off at 9 a.m., I will do a daily sync up with my design team. Sometimes we do a asynchronous sync up via Slack or Teams. But there are times where we would kind of have a town hall where we will just gather together via Zoom, or if you're doing remote working or if you're in the office, we'll just be there together in the room, right? So we will do very quick sync up on what we're going to do today, what are some of the blockers, moving forward. Then I'll spend the rest of the day back to back in meetings, just to go talk to different stakeholders. It could be having a chat with our engineering team to understand what are some of the current project requirements, things that are stopping them from moving ahead. I could also be doing planning with the different product managers or even with our business leaders to understand what are some of their concerns or a long-term strategic planning that they have in place. Then, I would also spend some time going around, checking on the work of my designers. So that's normally roughly in a midday maybe 3-ish, 4, I would just go back to my office and I would just like look through all the design boards on Figma, a tool that we use to do design. It was something that I also kind of teach in Rakuten Institute as well. Then I will spend some time for myself to really just go through some news and articles, just to keep myself updated with what's happening around in the area of design. For my designers, they are more so with, in the morning, they'll be doing a lot of sync-ups. Then they will also be having some meetings, but not so much as myself. Then they'll be spending a lot of their time talking to users mainly, and also designing on the screen. So I guess as we progress in our journey, career, as we go up in seniority, the time spent on actual design gets a bit lesser. We spend more time on the strategic part of the business, where we are more involved with many of the different stakeholders, clearing basically blockers or trying to get our team to be able to move ahead to improve productivity.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, sounds like quite a day, I think, in the life of an average UX designer.
I would assume so.
Sounds like it. So, all right, then in that case, then how would you describe the overall demand for a UX design career in Singapore? How would you say are the prospects like, and what do you think are the kind of roles that people can apply to, I would say?
To be honest with you, I'm actually very optimistic about this role in this industry. The reason for that is also because if you think about it, the tech scene is really booming. It's very vibrant. And a lot of companies right now, they are hiring talents, right? And I would say there are, different experience level of designers. They're like, the junior designers, they are mid-level, they are senior level designers. So regardless, I think the demand is there. Right? Because we're all building teams, we're all trying to get things done. So I think the demand is very strong, right? But you need to have the right experience, also the right mentality when you go into this field, especially if, for example, if you are doing a career switch, you need to kind of understand there's some trade-off required. But for that trade-off, it's really worth it. Like for my case, I started off, as I said, as a graphic designer. I moved into advertising as a creative director. After a couple of years, I moved into UX. I did make quite a bit of a trade-off. And I was very comfortable with it. Now I have no regrets moving backward, looking at this whole thing. I think I have led a very fulfilling career.
Awesome.
And then also I would say that, when it comes to salary as well, I think everyone is concerned about that as well. If you think about it, again, please don't quote me on this, but I think on average, if you have an experience between 2 to 5 years, you could pretty much expect $5,000 to $7,000. It's a comfortable range for junior to mid-range kind of a designer. But again, I would like to say, money aside, right? You really need to enjoy the work that you do every day, and especially so for design.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, in that case, then what would you say is some possible good resources that you think that aspiring UX designers can refer to, if let's just say they're trying to build their career, and in terms of acquiring the right skills, other than of course taking our course, other than that, what can they do to help start that?
Okay, first of all, I still want to say take our course.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, in all honesty, if you ask me, I think a lot of this has to do with your own push, your own motivation to succeed. I did a lot of self-reading, but all this really, it can bring you to a certain level, but I think it's more important if you have somebody who can mentor you and guide you in your journey. And I would like to say this is super important because how we consume our knowledge is important. The sequence of it is also important. If the foundation of how you have consumed your knowledge is not sound, then I think you're going to have a lot of problems along the way. Yeah, so I would generally advise most people to seek advice. Also, go into bootcamps such as Rakuten Institute, where you get exposed to basically in the class there are many different professionals. That's one thing. You can kind of bounce your ideas. Second, the trainers have got industry experience. Now, I need to just say that industry experience is important. However, I've seen many candidates who I have interviewed with from different bootcamps all over Singapore. They are doing the right thing, but they don't have the right exposure. When asked difficult questions, they are not able to answer it, especially in the area of product. So whom you learn from is important. It matters, especially if the trainer or the mentor has got a solid experience in the product space.
Yeah.
That'll be super, super helpful for you to land a job.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, nice. So I guess in summary, what you're saying is that it's really important to learn from the right sources.
Correct.
And I think, based on everything you're saying, I think it really does sound like UX design is a very fulfilling career to go into.
Definitely.
I mean, like you said, you have no regrets, and it sounds like you're very happy where you are now. So yeah, I mean, so just to wrap up, thank you so much, Zack, for sharing all of this with us. Again, to our viewers out there, if you ever want to, take up UX, you want to learn more about what the field is about, come check out what we have. Feel free to reach out to Zack if you want to. Our team is filled with very experienced instructors. If you want to find out more, go and visit us at verticalinstitute.com. Any parting last words from you, Zack?
I mean, I can't wait to be able to meet more students. So hopefully, I get to see more and more people coming over to join us in our classes.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. Join us in the next episode.